Here's another episode of Godly Play.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Biscup. I am the Director of Christian Formation here at SPC. I help Alex Evangelista with our children's and youth programs here. Today we're going to read a story from our Growing God's Love Bible, and our story's name is Visitors from the East, and it is based on the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Before we do that, I'm going to say a brief prayer, and then we're going to begin. Dear Lord, help us engage with this story, help us learn new things, and really help us just wonder about you. Please be with us. Amen. So let's begin our story. Imagine getting ready for a long trip, one that would take months. What would you pack? In this story, some people go on a trip that took years. They weren't even sure where they were going. In a land east of Bethlehem lived some magi. These people studied the stars in the night skies. They looked for new stars too. One night, they saw a new star, a bright star. They believed that this star was a sign that a new king was born. They packed their camels for a long trip to follow the new star. About 2 years later, they arrived in Jerusalem. They went to the palace and asked King Herod about the star and the new king. King Herod didn't know anything about a new king or where this baby could be found. He called together the priest and his advisors. The priest said, "Prophets wrote that a baby king would be born in Bethlehem. He would be king of the Jews. This might be the reason for the star." Hearing about a new king did not make King Herod happy. There could be only one king in the land, and he was the king. But King Herod was clever. He asked the Magi to follow the bright star until they found the new king. "When you find this new king," said King Herod, "come tell me where he is so that I can honor him too." The Magi followed the star. In Bethlehem, it led them to a house where they found Mary and the child Jesus. The Magi knelt before the child. They gave him presents of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. In a dream, God told the Magi not to go back to King Herod in Jerusalem, so they went home a different way. Here is a terrific illustration of our Magi, and you can see the frankincense, myrrh, and gold. I just love this Bible and every piece of the illustrations and also the words in it. But if you ever get a chance to look through it, it's just absolutely terrific. But I'm going to read off 3 questions. And with those questions, I'm going to ask you to think and to really engage with our text. And with that, I'm going to say my answers to these questions, and I hope you're thinking too. Our first question is, why do you think God chose a star to tell the Magi that Jesus was born? Well, in my opinion, I think it's out of a beauty angle of when I look at the sky, and it's hard in the suburbs of Philadelphia at times with the pollution and the car traffic, but say you go an hour out of here, or you've been to a place where you can see all the constellations, you can still see that one super shiny, and that for us is the North Star. And for me, the North Star has always been this terrific magical thing because it connects the Big Dipper, the one constellation I really know about, and it's something I think is really like a shine, or something that for me is always like, that's the one star, something that gives it significance of how shiny and beautiful it is. So it's a correlation. It's not the exact answer, but it could be something. What do you think the Magi saw when they first met Mary, and little Jesus? Well, in my opinion, I think they might have been pretty confused, because the way the story is written in this Bible and our other Bible of more adult nature, they seem like pretty normal people. You'd imagine that Jesus or a king or a god would be on a throne and he would be in a palace of some sort with gold everywhere, but it seems like just a story that makes us really think it's like you or me, where they're just normal, and they're even in a manger, so it's instead of kind of the opposite of what a throne or what you would imagine a king or god to be in. Our last question is, what gift would you give Jesus? Well, when I first read this question, it makes me a little scary of the way of, have you ever been super frustrated about giving a gift and you don't know what to give someone? Well, even reading that, I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna mess up giving Jesus a gift. But I think for me, it would be something similar to like a macaroni picture, of just something handcrafted rather than buying it, but a handcrafted picture of something that showed I put effort or really tried to do something for him personally. But he's also a baby in this imagery, but I think it would be cool for him to see. But it would be really, yeah, it's something I challenge you guys to think about. What would you give Jesus as a gift? But that is our story for today. And I thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to finish us out with a prayer. And thank you so much for coming to Godly Play. Lord, thank you so much for this story. Thank you for this beautiful imagery we got to see of the Magi giving gifts to baby Jesus. And it's something that really makes the story more vibrant, more beautiful, of the detail that goes into it. It's something that really makes us ponder and makes us feel like we're in the scene at times. But thank you so much for this story, and thank you for this day. Amen. Alrighty, we will see you next time with Godly Play. See you, everyone.